Okay, let's jump into the footage with my student Chevy and a Russian cache 100. And first spot that I noticed Chevy is
Fold.
it's about
Everything like is
pre-flop
planned.
3-bet. So do you think this one is in equilibrium a 3-bet, or what was your reason to 3-bet it?
I think I opened the node.
Mm-hmm.
Skip a bit forward.
Yes.
Close.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean he's very loose, and I think I think it's gonna make profit. He won't 4-bet enough against the 3-bet and potentially overfold, at least from the button.
Mm-hmm.
I think I wouldn't 3-bet to lose against him from like earlier positions. If
Okay.
he opens like MP or under the gun, I wouldn't 3-bet that wide.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least I probably would only 3-bet for value. But on the button, I think a guy that VPIPs like 26% is really likely to give up at least a lot of his offsuit, like King 9, Queen 9.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And won't 4-bet enough for sure.
Okay. So the thing is that I don't see, like, when I look at the ranges in what they should defend, they're not really under folding. That's a big thing. So they're under 4-betting, most likely, yes, but we will see the flop very often, like more often than we should, let's say. I will show you just real fast what I mean. I prepared also for few situations that I want to discuss with you, the trees. So if you see here, button open and big blind 3-bet, so we see there's a bit of 3-bet, so it's fine, but I just want you to be aware of the fact that population will probably not overfold here. Yeah, like they defend ace 4, I think ace 3, the slow pockets a bit more often than they should, but they under 4-bet. So we just need to know also where our EV is then, or how do we play this kind of hands post flop that we don't fuck up. You know what I mean? Like it's already close, and we need to be aware of the fact that we are out of position with a polarized range, and they are very tricky to play this hands. So you need to have a plan, a post flop. Where is your EV coming from? What kind of mistakes is villain doing that led you to realize more equity than you should? If you don't have clear reasons post flop also, and you make misplays then with this kind of hand, it will cost you money instead of making money. This is important, that we don't overestimate our abilities without studying the spot very good. For example, also in this instance, I don't like really the. So we can look into it. Or do you have something to say to this?
I mean, against in the sim, the 3-bet sizing is a bit bigger. So I think against my sizing, it's completely fine if he defends like all the pocket pairs and suited ace-x. I don't think he is supposed to fold them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's also supposed probably to call even more, like from the offsuit broadways, which aren't in that sim.
Mm-hmm. And the sim is the NL100 rake, so this is not a GG rake, because Russian cache, I'm not fully sure how it works, but I think because of the rake, he's also not supposed to defend so wide. But yeah, maybe a bit wider, yes. But then post flop, it would be very tricky to play this kind of hands. I just want to emphasize the fact that we really need to study the spot post flop. That better you know the spot post flop. If you say, okay, 1 week, I focus on this, I develop a strategy, I really know what kind of mistakes they do, what my game plan is. I'm very confident that I can play this kind of hands post flop. Then you can even 3-bet it much more often than normally. Just to know, okay, what do I do post flop? Yeah. And then like here on queen 3 deuce, it's good to split your range, so that's good.
Yeah, I think with the c-bet size, I get like at least the non-backdoor flush draw broadways to fold, and if he has offsuit broadways, he maybe continues with the club. But I think I get to fold a lot of over cards to my tree. I have the set blocker, which is quite good, and I plan to barrel on a lot of turns.
Okay, so yeah, like fine reasons. One big reason is why we want to split our range also is that we have a polarized range, so therefore we have a lot of like very low equity hands here, like Jack 8 and spades. This kind of hands should be also quite frequent in our range. They cannot profitably bet here, especially for a small sizing. So therefore, we need to develop
I
a
mean,
checking range.
if I assume imposition is overfolding on a board, maybe not this board, but if there's like a board, I assume he's overfolding. I guess I can put some trashy hands in like a smaller sizing and just fold them on the turn.
Yes, like here it's a bit dangerous. Like it's hard for him also to overfold. But yeah, like versus the race.
Yeah, versus the race, I think it's. I mean, we blocked the nut flush draw he could do it with, but I think it's. I don't usually see people to raise too strong. They either have like sets or they have like complete bullshit. But that said, they tend to raise versus smaller sizing.
Yes.
So, but I think with our hand, we definitely don't want to fold. We still have the nut flush draw as a backdoor, at least. And I think I'm feeling pretty confident if the turn goes check to make a decision on the river.
Do you think it's red stronger than equilibrium or weaker this race here?
I know from Saulo Costa's video that when they raise the flop and they triple it off, it's tend to be way weaker
Fish.
than you assume. Yeah,
But he's
I
not
mean
a
this is
fish.
he's a potential fish.
Why?
I marked only people from like VPips. It's in his note. I don't know him. He is like 200 hands. He's playing way to lose, I think.
But
And
26 is not a way to lose. 26 is you have 27.
yeah, this is for me. It's like for a few hands. Overall, I'm playing like I think 25% VPip, and I'm already one of the loser guys. So I think from his from the stats I have on him so far, I think he was a bit looser, but and I had him marked as a like loose guy and potentially a bit too out of line.
Do I
But
do I
not
want
confirmed. So
but do I want against this type of person? If this is your estimation, do I really want to free bet an ace 3 off against this kind of person or like player? You know what I mean?
yeah, I think preflop is questionable for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I tend to be quite aggressive, especially versus button and cutoff, because if he starts opening like a 7-8 offsuit, 9-8 offsuit hands on the button, like or even goes like 9-7 offsuit, these are hands they for sure won't defend, and it's way to lose on a button at GG for this opening raising size.
Okay.
I think it's pretty easy, and I see a lot even regulars open way too wide on buttons or cutoff. Like I see people opening king 6 off, and I mean it's okay because some people just have auto fold in the big blind, but I'm not one of them, and I'm also one of them. It's also rarely that you see people over 3-betting the big blind. That's one thing why I kind of like to overdo it, especially against loose guys.
Okay. The thing that I just noticed here is in your thinking process, some things that are how to say in English, it's controversial. You know what I mean? Like it's the problem here is we need to be aware of the fact that we can find reasons for everything, right? So like like some reasons that you say are speaking for 3-bet, and then others reasons that you try to find to defend now against the race here are speaking already against the 3-bet preflop. You know, they're like the argumentation for the thought process is a bit controversial there.
I mean, I think he's people. I mean, from theory perspective, people should not really. People are not raising like the right hands on the flop. I feel like they either raise like the super nutted hands, but the hands they probably should raise are like gut shots or like ace queen type of hands. I feel like, but they tend to raise like equity hands like flush draw or sets, which they can easily call. That's like at least what I think. What they make wrong in this spot. So I guess I can easily call and make get into a way profitable spot on the turn. That's why I definitely want to continue here. I think it's a bit weird because I choose the bigger sizing on the flop, but versus a small sizing, I'm 100% confident in continuing versus a raise.
Okay.
And I think if you play the hand, I think I remember what he had, and I think getting to the showdown here is definitely will win me some big blinds in the future.
I would be careful with definitely with 100% this to say these things, you know, like it blocks out the fact that you could be wrong. Like the thing here, you use a half pot sizing. If someone raises in 100 and a Russian cash versus the half pot, and the average guy here is very nitty. Already,
that's what I said. As versus a smaller sizing, I'm pretty confident that we have to continue. Versus the bigger flop c bet, I kind of tend to agree with you that it could be a bit punty.
It can be very fast punty because we defend. This is the kind of things we are out of position with a crappy hand. We block his bluffs. We block his bluffs. Okay, we block threes, but he's just in general not finding the bluffs here. He's not finding the bluffs that he should find. Something like ace 5 in spades or something. No one is starting here to raise versus a half pot sizing. I would be very surprised to see this, let's say like this. So if he's not finding this kind of low equity hands also, then we need to find the fold. Being too loose in this kind of spots costs a lot of money, I think, because this can lead to a big punt on later streets, and it's very tricky to play out of position versus a strong range. So there, I think you'll lose a lot of money in the long run when it multiplies.
Pretty sure I don't want to fold here. But what do you think is his raising range here?
Ace queen very often. Maybe some sets, but mostly ace queen and strong flush draws. Ace jack, ace 10 flush draw. Very very simple raising range here. Very simple. I would not overcomplicate
we
it.
block ace jack and ace 10, so it's like
he has block his bluffs.
Queen. Yeah.
Yes.
So you say basically raises ace king, a queen, ace queen here.
Queen x and some ace x flush draws, or like a 4 5 5 6 in clubs. Very simple. Okay. So yeah, here, watch out that you don't. Like, this is the main takeaway is here just your argumentation. You can always find reasons to like to find plays, let's say. There we need to be very careful and aware of our thought process, that they are not contradicting. They're very important. And always let the possibility open that we are wrong. This is very important. Okay. The next hand is the king queen hand. King queen. At 448. No, 448. So you isolate the recreational, which is standard. This rec probably rec the big blind
No,
spots.
I mean blue is like my. This is like my monkey take. I kind of is like they are way to lose. Like they defend way to lose versus 3 bets. Way to lose pre-flop. Like too sticky overall.
Okay,
This is
good
not
to know.
really a rec tag. It's like way to lose in a spot. I saw them being like way out of line.
Okay.
Nothing what's ever in any ranges.
Okay. So anyway, like we're on the flop. But let's say now just to that it's more applicable for like more spots, let's say to say it's button versus big blind spot, it's a very
Yeah.
interesting spot. So let's say it's a button big blind, you open and you called. We can keep in the back of our mind that it's not the spot, but and talk maybe briefly about it, but it's more about the things that I want to say here apply also in button versus big blind. So it's just say it's button big blind, you open.
I mean, I think anyways this range will not differ too much.
Okay.
At least for this guy.
Not
So yeah, flop.
best board.
Yeah, like with your hand is totally fine. Check back. So you say you split your range here, which is fine. Half pot, split range, totally fine.
I'm checking.
So nothing to say too much on the flop. Just maybe that we can bet a bit more frequent on the flop if they fast play their nutted hands and if they don't like if they overfold something like ace queen, ace jack offsuit, ace 10 offsuit, this kind of broadways. King queen offsuit should defend, but they don't. Just a note. And turn gets now interesting.
Information on him.
He starts stabbing.
I guess I'm checking as well as my time. This is not the best sizing we used, but we just call it, nothing else.
Okay. So he tank, and he stab. Good. So your thought here was just like a standard call, right? Or
I mean, we have 2 overs with the gut shot to the nuts, and I think on club runouts we potentially can bluff if he checks. On maybe on the 1 card straight runouts, if he checks, we can find a bluff as well. I think there are quite a lot of rivers where he could give up, and we potentially just bluff him off his hand.
Yeah, totally fine. Yeah, call in position. Raise, we need to be a bit careful. I can show you why. It's interesting.
I think if from like a theory perspective, you tend to you want to unblock like the higher flush draws, and you rather like raise the like if you had like a queen of clubs, so you raise like with blockers, but not to the nutted flush draws. I think if I just from other spots.
Yeah, you block his bluffs.
Would be my theory.
You block also his bluffs, yes. And you would take some probably some like nut blockers with it. So you have like a bottom pair plus like ace 5, for example, with the ace of clubs. I would imagine would be a fine bluff, or some straight blockers. You want to block better the strong hands. King queen is not doing a good job in blocking the strong hands, and it's blocking the bluffs like queen 6, queen 8. So your hand looks on the first side as a good like decent bluff, but it's actually not so great, I would imagine. But yeah, good that you noticed this. So check. Turn comes the jack, and here I want to mention something interesting. That villain, I note locked it here already, but I can show you real fast the non-note locked one. So villain would need to find a lot of this like 9x like second pair steps, and I think this is not happening. What is your opinion here?
I mean, I saw some weird steps before, but probably not at this frequency.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I see sometimes even people stepping like bottom pairs there,
Okay.
like random cards, but I think maybe not at that frequency. Probably a bit more lenient, and he for sure not gonna check as much top pairs as in the non-node locked sim. Like there's like half of the ace jack should check. I don't think that's happening that frequently.
Okay, probably also not the nutted tens. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
as
like
well.
nutted tens can check raises, but yeah, I just node locked the. I didn't want to over node lock. Let's say I really don't like this, but I just took out the 9x just to make it a bit more polarized. The range. This would then lead to, so when we bet, when he bets, we don't use the king queen as a bluff. It's even like the worst bluff. No, one of the worst ones. It's not great. So like just call, fine. So and we just get a bit tight, like quite a bit tighter. I just show you real fast. Like 7%, but I think it's still this old sizing. I changed it to the sizing that he used, around 66%. Bet, and then we see that yeah, it's quite significantly significant the drop in raise, and even there it's not a raise, the king queen. So good that you didn't raise. Very easy to fall there into the into raising too much. And yeah, the river is then very interesting, very interesting. So we have the turn, it's fine to call.
But
it will be a bit too polarized.
Take it. Got shots to overs.
Now river. So a very interesting river.
I don't think we can value bet here.
So you said you don't think you can value bet here. Yeah. So like what is your thought process here?
I mean,
on the river.
I feel it's quite thin to value bet because I think he is probably overfolding against, at least against bigger size. I think maybe we can mix in a half pot here, but especially since we probably won't ever get bluff check raised, or rarely get bluff check raised. That would definitely be
true?
an argument. I don't think people find too many bluff check raises after. I mean, if he wanted to bluff, I mean, he has to turn like showdown value into a check raise on the river if I bet, and I don't think people do it as frequently as a solver would.
I don't think this is true.
You think people would have like Jack 10 with 10 of clubs and
very easy bluff to find. Like I think this belief of people not being able to find bluffs, I think it's not correct. I rather think that people are very bad in balancing these bluffs. But it's if something is obviously a good bluff, it's very easy to overdo the bluff. Or if it's like easier the bluff
yeah, sure,
is
but
to
I
find.
mean, Jack 10 is also a reasonable hand to check call. So I just thought I don't see too much air. I mean, we could get value from like Queen 10 offsuit.
So
it should probably never raise, and
we need to think about
I just
some
look
factors here.
about I just think about the only factor I can think about that lets me value bet is like if we assume he does not check raise bluff us on river. So
or too much.
Or too much.
Because we need to say what is he check raising for. You need to just to say he's not check raise. This is a general belief that holds like that will cost you a lot of EV. Every general belief we need to always second guess and question. So when we have the belief people are not finding the solver frequencies in check raising, or especially like just in general bluffing, it's a huge statement and it's very general. So if we have always this belief running, we will overfold or we will not find possibilities to generate EV. And in this spot, I think it's a very nice spot to demonstrate this kind of. So here, for example, we can set up an exploit. So let's say for this we need to really we need to put the effort into, because just having this kind of belief they are not finding the bluffs, it's very easy, and it's saving, let's say, time and effort, let's say, and it's just easy to say, okay, we check. But if we look really into his range construction, if we think, okay, what is he really checking here on the river? If he has any kind of nutted hands, besides, okay, flushes maybe, but is he likely to bet or check a straight, for example, here?
I think he's more likely to bet. So I think is
okay, more likely to bet. A set?
I can see some sets getting scared, no? And like rather check and
yes,
take
always
like
the possibility to bet smaller.
Yeah, I don't know if you I mean, for sure some sets will bet, but I can see some sets also like knitting it up and check. So
Okay.
I think straights are more likely to bet again, but I think sets are like on the edge. Some will bet, some will check. Not sure how I would perceive his range there.
It is very important, like to put your effort into really looking how is his range constructed and what he should, like, what are the most likely mistakes that he will do here. So if we say, okay, if he checks here, first of all, I don't think, and you, it seems also like this, you also don't think that he's checking here much straights or sets. So
yeah, I don't think it's the most likely thing, but I can see some sets checking, but
okay,
not a lot. Like,
okay. And if they check, they don't check raise you, right? Even if you bet half pot.
I don't think so.
Okay, good. That would be one factor that speaks for value betting more thin. One factor.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next factor that I think about is how often does he go for the check raise bluff with his flushes? Okay, and if he does so, with which kind of flushes would he do this? So now we estimate his value range for the check raise. Can you think about the combos? And it's not many, so therefore we can quickly think even in game.
I think if he check raises flushes, it's probably more likely to have like the nutted ones like ace 9, the ones with like maybe even 10-9. Like I think the ones with a pair are more likely to check and check raise.
Mm-hmm. But in general, you would also think that.
But I think he's mostly betting flush.
Correct. So like, if they try to check raise, they check it's like this greedy check raise. Okay, what means greedy? It like makes also sense, but it's not really like I check raise my 5 high 6 high flush. It's more I overbet my 5 high flush or 6 high flush to get their max value, but it's not enough to check raise all in. So often when they check and they try to check raise, they make it with a very nutted hand. They try to do it with a very nutted hand where they want to extract all the money, because they understand, okay, if I bet now, it's most likely not happening that I get all the money. So how do I get all the money? By check raising. But they don't really check raise like weakish, like thin for value. It's their population. Most players are not good enough for that. So therefore, it's a very very like tight range, very nutted in this fact. So ace X. And how many ace X flushes does he have here?
Since I checked the flop, he probably has a lot of suited ace X. I mean, all of them he gets to the turn. Probably probes most of them. Then, yeah, I think. I mean, we blocked the king high flushes, but I think he has for sure a bunch of nut flush here.
So what means a bunch? Like ace deuce,
Yeah, I mean,
ace three, ace four?
I mean, ace deuce suited to like ace 10 probably.
Okay.
Think maybe ace jack. I mean, ace jack won't happen. So
okay.
yeah.
So we can say ace deuce, ace 3, ace 4, ace 6, ace 8. Okay. So these are 5 combos.
Yeah.
Deuce, 3, 4, 5 combos. Ace 10. Ace
I mean,
8.
ace 9. Ace 9.
Let's say 8 combos, but then we need to put
Okay.
away some frequency for 3 betting. So sometimes he will 3 bet. Ace 10 suited, ace 5 suited, ace 4 suited, ace 3 suited. All these hands will 3 bet sometimes. At least some frequency. So let's put away 1 to 2 combos. So let's say 6 combos. Okay. This is the value range now. And we block the king X flushes that he could sometimes find as a check raise, which is also nice. So we know now 6 combos of flushes.
Yeah.
Okay. 6 combos of value. So now we think, how many potential bluffs does he have, and how much of them is he able to bluff before he overbluffs? So like, how much is he allowed to bluff this kind of obvious bluffs? So can you think about real fast, which hands does he have like almost always in there, and are potential candidates to check raise bluff?
I mean, jack 10 with 10 of clubs, queen 10. I mean, queen 10 probably calls mostly. Maybe like 10-9 with 10 of clubs.
Ace jack, ace of clubs.
I don't know if ace jack of clubs would go for a check raise rather than a check call, but potentially some of. Let's give it like half of the time.
Okay, king jack with the king of clubs.
King jack with the king of clubs is not possible, so.
Yeah, this we block, but yeah, like ace jack or ace of clubs, and
I mean,
jack 10,
maybe
jack of clubs.
maybe
jack
go
10, 10 of clubs.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, if you only go for club hand, maybe he goes a bit more, but he's probably allowed to have like more bluffs if he goes for the all-in sizing at least for check raise.
Okay, so jack of clubs, call button, and river comes the
queen of clubs.
Okay, so check. No, this one. Check. And we see it's not really using the. So here we see a check. Okay, so that's what I want to also say is like to not just look at this. So what like most of the people are doing, and where we can separate ourselves by other players is to put the extra effort in. So not just to look, okay, the solver is bet checking, and that's it. It's not a bet. First of all, it's pretty close already, but it's a 3/4, right? So we can put in other sizing that we could choose exploitively, like 50%, and see what is this. Is solver then betting if I give him the possibility to bet 50%? Okay, so still not, but now it's getting closer and closer. Okay, so we see a tiny amount of betting, but still in GTO land it's still a check, which is fine. Okay, but we don't want to play GTO, like we want to use it as a basis, and we want to find out, can I extract extra value here? And yeah, if we bet and we look at the ace jack hands and jack 10, and we look at how much is he allowed to bluff? Not a lot, right?
Yeah, not a lot.
Yes. So how is it likely? More likely. It's always what is more likely. Like we need to make an estimation. No absolute. So like we don't say it's like this, but more likely. We make an estimation. For that we need the GTO foundation or a good understanding how the how it works, the spot. This you get with of course like just drilling and like studying, but just to have a good range awareness and to be able to estimate, okay, really quick in game, what is the value that he's wrapping and how much is he really allowed to bluff and how much potential bluffs does he have to choose from. And then from that, when I have these factors, I can estimate, is it more likely or less likely that he's unbalanced towards under or over bluff. So this is kind of like the game that we play to maximize our EV. We don't try to play GTO. We try to use GTO foundation and move from there. And here, like, and often you will look, and then it's you will see, okay, it's if you don't put the effort to actively look for these things, you also get stuck. You don't find new things. You don't get better also in these things. So just looking, okay, what is he having for value here? He's having like this king x flushes, the ace x. It's red betting another, like probably stabbing. Let's see. Yeah, like he has already just few flushes, and yeah, if he decides to check raise them, he can probably find a bit more bluffs, but not much more. So if I see this, it's for me like a nice spot where villain will be able to overbluff. And if you train to find the spot very in game also, like just to mark the spot where you think you could extract, you can induce, you can in this way you can set up mistakes for villain, actively set up mistakes. So you bet half pot with the intention to call, because you know he's over bluffing. So this is then going from passive exploiting, just knowing like MDA data, is then going into active exploit, like using the range construction and how likely it is that he's being himself not range aware enough, let's say. Okay, so if we make the effort to, for example, we not look just a few more bluffs in, let's say, we can see what happens then. That strategy, and maybe it's not so extreme here, the result, but it's just a good example for general speaking, that you can often find extra value or extra EV if you put in the effort and have the right questions that you ask yourself. So let's make maybe selling like 50%. What would you say? Like check 10 of the 10 of clubs? How often?
I mean, that's just all three combos. It's giving just half 50%, yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's just
so half, and
check 10 spades. Top.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. And ace jack with the ace of clubs. Half. Okay. And king jack, we said, okay. We block it anyway. So that's it already. It's not like, the nice thing on the river is always, if you're very good in following the range, so like if you know the range better than your opponent, the ranges, and you are better in estimating where the other guy is doing a mistake, and often the mistake results in being unaware of your range. So this is very important, because on the river we are now button versus big blind in a 2-bet spot where the flop went check check. So it's like, or a very big range we work with from the beginning. But now look at the river scenario, it's a very narrow range all of a sudden. So river is very often a narrow range, and if we are good in tracking the range, we can make great adjustments, and we need to always try to adjust on the river. River, no one is playing GTO, no one. So that's very important. Okay, so let's do this. Log all and not log, and also like to use the not log function correctly is a very valuable tool. Let's see what happens. So button, and now we see it's going into bet, king queen, king of clubs, bet, and then fill in raise, and we call, and we have a 17 big blind. We gained now by betting half pot 17 big blinds. And now if we add this up to so many river spots where we can potentially, by just putting a bit more effort into it, we can extract so much extra EV that makes, I think, a big difference between you being then a crusher or just the average rig. You know what I mean? This kind of work most people
especially
are not putting in.
Not even he's still probably folding like queen 10, which probably no one does on the river.
Correct. Yes, correct. Also, like you will find things. Of course, you cannot remember the spots, but more often you do these things. Yeah, like you will get stronger and stronger in this thinking. Okay, so that's one spot. So just extra value. Let's see. Yeah, we can do a few more hands. So, but do you have anything more to the send? Maybe something that you want to?
No, I think it's fine.
Cool. Okay, so then
flushes, and he had an opening.
I think I forgot one hand, one bigger hand. I'm not sure if we have the time to do it, but I think so. Ace queen off. Ace queen off. This is an interesting hand also. And I just want to cut as fast as possible to the main idea that I think you can extract more value here. And it's again a general thought.
So I think this was like min 3-bet or something.
Yes, correct.
So really tiny. Yeah.
Yes. So like I know that like if you would 3-bet bigger, you would definitely fold. But against this sizing, yes, it's close.
My general approach in this spot is like I'm overcalling. I mean, I saw some ranges against like if he's like 3-betting tight and small, then you tend to overcall a lot of suited stuff and just overfold post flop. But I think read less, he's potentially having some looser 3-bets as well there for the sizing, and I think ace queen is like the cutoff for me, which from the offsuit Broadway.
I think it's fine. King queen off I would not like. But
yeah,
ace queen off.
King queen off.
Okay, yes, it's okay. But yeah, he will be much tighter, of course, than GTO.
It's a really tiny 3-bet, yeah.
Like most of the population.
I mean, I see some random small 3-bets sometimes, like really random, like off-suited suited gappers and stuff.
There will be sometimes in there. So, like, some interesting things here to descend. I gave you this range. I'm not sure if you agree. So this is what I gave for a big blind. Kinda, I have this like few suited gappers, suited
connectors. Yeah,
connectors. I think kind of like this is a 4.5% range. I think like they are massively under 3-betting. So something like this.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I
Fine.
mean,
Cool.
some will be wider, some will be tighter.
Correct.
Whatever.
Okay, and your range is kind of like this. In GTO, there would be yeah, like 8, 7, 6 is much less, but he's because of the small 3-bet, I think you will just defend them always, and the Jack 10, Queen 10 is almost always folding, but I guess you also defend them like this kinda. This was my estimation, and Ace Queen almost always fine, right?
Yeah. Also, I think since we are still quite deep, give me some edge in position.
Nice.
To make right decisions. At least,
Okay.
I think.
Okay, cool. So he bet 1/4 for range or 1/3, and turn comes the Jack of Hearts. Here I would like to know from you, and also the guy, like you guys who are watching, you can also stop the video and just this question is also for you. What do you think is the villain's betting frequency on the turn now? Like how often should he barrel the turn on the Jack of Hearts? What would be your estimation?
I can think he can still bet quite frequently. Still a good. I mean, he's the It's show me the range you gave
Yes.
him.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he still has a lot of offsuit ace queen. He has like a lot of boats, and since I think in the GTO sim, since we float a lot of low pocket pairs, I think also the like a smaller sizing would make somewhat sense. Since you have to overfold a lot, probably.
Okay. Okay, let's look into it. I found it quite interesting. So call, and this happens very often in this scenario. So he's supposed to check range.
Okay.
And yeah, like there's like a general thing, like when you are facing someone in position, so like it's mostly big blind, small blind versus like tight ranges. If you see bet, and especially range see bet, and turn comes like connects very well with in position range, we start to check way more than we intuitively think. Kinda, it's like a bit unintuitive. Okay, so there we need to be careful how strong villain's range gets. So, and this is a general thing. Happens very often.
I mean, can you show the EV comparison from both positions?
Of course. So EV shifts heavily now to in position, 56.29% for in position.
Okay.
Okay. So he should check range, but he's not. So now if we again, like now we need to use again the node lock function to come up with a reasonable play, or like to know what should we do, because yeah, he's not checking range. So he used, I think, the 2/3 sizing. I just want to see how much exactly he betted. So 5.5, and then on the turn he bet
turn the straight
14.3. Okay, so let's do this real quick, and then I want to
like
show
half
you
pot, I think, around half pot, a bit more.
Okay, so check, and let's do also the right sizing here, that we have really like this stack to pot ratio then.
But he's not full stack, so not sure.
I think he's full stack.
What is it?
I think you're full stack with him. That's not. I think it's fine.
I think he has a bit less, but it's okay.
No, he had
he's full stack.
Yes.
Okay.
So turn 14.3. Okay, so bet, call. This is also interesting. I forgot to ask you how much you think villain is supposed to, or like how much you are supposed to raise in position, which is pretty pretty crazy, to be honest. I don't think many people raise so much in position. I think
I would for sure not, because especially since I guess he will make more mistakes along the way if I just call.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he also will realize some equity, but I think also with like hands like eights, I don't think. I mean, if he has like a king, he's always continue. And I'm still not sure what his range is. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, just interesting to look also into the reaction. Like maybe it's something there, you know, like maybe you find something very unintuitive for him when we raise small, because it's using the very small raise here. It's very interesting. I was surprised myself when I saw this, to be honest, that we raise here small in position and kind of put this like ace queen ace check into a shitty spot, ace queen off. This is kind of the thing, and putting his like queen check, making them indifferent.
I mean, seems not like people would fold these, so it's probably not the best raise. So
yes,
I mean,
so like I think it's if you don't really you would need probably like at least like 1 hour or something to put into the spot, and if you manage to make a general strategy and to find maybe it's like worth it to put some time into it as a topic, and to find out what are they doing then wrong also on future streets, that you need to have a plan for turn and river. So you need to know, because on the flop it seems like it's not that great to just raise your eights or sevens, but it could be that on turns or
I mean,
rivers you have some unintuitive things.
If the turn bricks, I mean, I can see people fast playing like the ace king there, and I can see people being too sticky. So probably on all bricks you have good barrel candidates. So because he still has all queen jack, ace queen, ace jacks that can't continue. Probably won't continue against too much aggression.
Yes, I think also, and also like on a queen or a jack, like imagine someone is raising you on that flop and then comes a jack and he keeps triple barreling. Like which kind of plus are you finding in this range? You know what I mean? If you have there even ace king, or like you're like just, it's always good. It's an interesting thought also, like to have where no one is racing, like to have some races. It's always bringing the other person into like this guessing mode and really like not knowing what's going on, and this is always good. Like if you know what's going on and villain has no clue, and to use a perceived very strong range like here for example to your advantage is I think very nice and very smart. Okay, so just to mention, but not the main thing that I wanted to say here. So we call, and turn comes the jack, and we know already, okay, we should check, like he should check range, but
won't you like since I didn't play with a raise, we should probably node lock the flop as well for less raises. Otherwise, the turn will.
We don't want. I don't want to make it now too accurate. Just a main idea. It will not change. I locked it already before, so it's not really changing much.
Okay, it was just a thought of mine that he maybe has more bets if we
no,
don't raise the flop as frequently.
No. This I did already. I tried out. He's still range checking.
Okay.
So set strategy, and let's do this real fast. I would say he's betting kind of like this. We need to make an estimation now because no one is range checking here. I think ace king is betting very frequent. I
Eights
think
as well, like ace queen, I think.
yes, and I would say like king queen probably like around 25%, and his full houses probably also around like a king jack probably checking most of the time, and jacks maybe like let's say 50%.
I think they still bet frequently. Yeah, 50% is okay.
I think it's fine.
25.
Do you think aces
will check a lot? I think with
maybe
aces
like very low.
I think really
like
low or check a lot at least. I think people find this. But I think the full houses will bet more frequently. Like king jack, I think they will still bet a lot.
Okay. So yeah, I just put in the like very intuitive thing. So like no one is it's very easy to just bet your flush draw, very easy. So I just put in the flush draws that he bets, and I put it here this. So like this, I think is the range construction, kinda. Like king check, we can put maybe a bit more. Would like so, yeah.
Yeah, I think the
Okay.
king jack will still bet.
Okay.
Definitely.
So we lock all, and okay. So now we will see. What do you think is how often?
I guess we fast play a lot, since he's
Okay.
betting quite equity driven and
Okay.
trips
Mm-hmm.
heavy.
Mm-hmm. There's some interesting questions that you can ask yourself because in game I noticed. Let's open refast and just look at your thought process when you had the send. It was
Check.
at which
Expecting
time?
offsuit
Damn.
blockers even in his range.
Second.
Gonna check again. I think
Ace queen 245.
about to.
Okay.
Was this?
So the turn. Let's flop. Again, like just want to emphasize
Pretty good.
the importance of the thought process.
You just call.
Because you have time, right? We have time to think. We have we don't give ourselves the option of like alternative options here. You know, like we don't take our time to like think about is this really the best play now? Just call.
I mean, to be fair, in game, I wasn't aware that he should check that much.
Yes,
so
correct. Like
I wasn't. In my mind, he's still allowed to bet there a lot. So I was like thinking, once he can bet a lot, he should. We shouldn't raise too much. I think, at least if I assume that he's allowed to bet a lot. But looking at the sim and how equity driven he probably bets, we can probably fast play way more.
But even without the sim, without seeing the sim, you could get the answer by just asking yourself some interesting questions. So for example, like from which part do you want to like? Is he continuing bluffs on the river? Like, is he having triple barrel bluffs here?
No, probably not. I mean, he will still triple his trips, but for value, not as a bluff.
So we get value from trips, right? So from ace king, mostly we are if we get the money in, all the money in, we get value against king x. So if we raise here now, or we call and call a shove, in both cases we are or like not call a shove. I think you raise then the river bet because the stack to pot ratio is just like this, that he's like not shoving the king x. So if we don't get if the possibility to get the value from king x by raising or by calling is both kind of the same, but the option of him never having bluffs on the river is there. So like he will barrel here now, like ace of spade.
Not only not having bluffs, also he will give up like ace king on a 9 or something.
Yes, something like this. Yeah. Yes, correct.
It's more likely to give it up.
Yeah, this I missed. Like you give him the possibility to outdraw you. Yeah, you give him the possibility to outdraw you, so you're not aggressive enough in equity deny. Okay, so this is the biggest thing. Like in poker, just you want to, like, more aggressive you are, like better you are in denying his equity, better you realize your own equity. Makes sense. So if and this is the biggest thing that a lot of people get wrong by playing too passive. They it's like kind of like standard. I don't say like this is a tricky one to get the turn raise. I'm not saying it's an easy one, for sure not. I think this is like the standard. That's the thing. The standard thinking is always this passive thinking and not second guessing your like normal play. That's why I really like when you maybe like at least like some time of your grind is highly focused and second guessing everything. You know what I mean? Even the things that seem standard like this one, if you see like if you second guess something standard for you standard, then you can get very nice results out of that, because you learn something new by second guessing something that you think you already know. Okay, so here for example, if we raise, we get value from the king x directly. We have perceived also some bluffs still. He can level himself thinking that we have queens, we can have jack.
I mean,
Yes.
who cares if he thinks we have bluffs? If he has like ace king, he's probably not going anywhere, and in his eyes, we probably even have like weaker king x. Even if we know we don't, but he probably won't fold his trips because he thinks he has the best trips. But
So yeah, if this is the estimation, then we need to get it in. Like
Yeah.
all the factors scream all in right now. And call is the like, yeah, it's just not the best play here. Makes sense?
Yeah, sure, I agree, totally.
Cool. So and on the river, then
Stacked.
he uses this sizing, very obvious one. The thing here would be, if I would have, like, if you have here any kind of like ace jack and spades, for example, and you see this kind of thing, would be something that you can attack, because I don't think someone is betting here jacks or tens or like any kind of nutted tens.
I mean, I think he never has a boat, or like I think this sizing does not really represent like full houses too much, but I also don't think there's too much to fold out if you turn like ace jack into a bluff.
I think now it's much easier for him to find a fold. Like, this is also a big argument. Also, a good question to ask yourself is, in which line is my range perceived stronger? Let's say, and in this line, I don't want to put my value. So if we raise the turn, we can have king queen. We can overplay things. We can have. It's more likely, let's say, we can have some flush draws. But on the river, if we jam now and our perceived range looks like now super nutted, right? So like if he has any kind of range awareness, he will figure out that now it's like just, if his conclusion is that we don't have bluffs, then his only option would be fold. Of course, we don't know on which level he thinks.
The problem is, I think he always has like at least a bluff catcher if he chooses this sizing on the river.
Yes. So
even
like,
if he has like aces, so he needs to fold a hand that is perceived like at least good, and if he don't manage to fold like a hand that he wanted to bet, I think it's close. I think he's more likely to give up his flush draws there on the river than bet for this sizing.
Yes, like, I'm not saying that he says
so
bluffs. It's purely ace king that we attack.
Yeah, sure, we attack this, but I kind of dislike bluffing into a range that has no snap folds. So he always has like the decision.
Yes. I
especially
totally agree there.
For a reasonable price is.
Yes. It's very like, you need to. That's just the idea, right? But you need to really be like, if you know against who you are doing it, because there are some players that have this kind of thought process. Someone who perceives the pool to not being, like, for example, you, I don't know, if you would be in his situation, and let's say you are in this situation, would you be able to fold ace king? Like, just this thought of if this thought comes up, like, he don't have bluffs, or like the pool is never bluffing here. Does it?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I would have sized on earlier streets, so I'm always all in. Or
you would not be in this.
mode.
Yeah, you would not be in this situation.
I would never bring myself into that spot.
Yes.
If we, for example, being deeper and someone raises there, I'm totally capable of folding like ace king.
Correct. So, and against these players, you would like to use this this kind of thinking, let's say, to bluff in a spot where your perceived range is like just nuts, like just where the thought of him will be, okay, he has no bluffs. There you want to have some bluffs. But yeah, I totally agree that this is probably not the best spot, because he's not very deep, like it's not much behind, and it's an unknown, like if this guy is very nitty, and yeah, has a straightforward thinking and perceives the pool, so he's not playing his absolute against a recreational. We would never do it because he just looks at absolute hand strength and he's not perceiving other players' range. Yeah, just as a thought. Okay. I think that's it then for like we could make maybe a second part in the future. Let's see, because yeah, there's still quite a bit. But for now, I would like to recap the things. Yeah, it's just like in general, put more effort and time into finding higher quality questions and that you can add to your game. To not think in absolutes also, like I'm very sure, like 100% sure, or like this 100% sure, I'm very certain, like this kind of things, always to second guess if this is really true. They're the most dangerous biases often. For example, like yeah, the pool is never bluffing, like, or never, like, more general also the belief is more dangerous it is if it's wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can cost you a lot of money then. Rather work on one hand, like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, so like go really deep. You saw like we did now 5 minutes from the footage, maybe like just few hands, and we went deep, but we learned a lot. So like that's the thing, like take the time to make some note logs, this kind of things, more.
Yeah, I mean, if I watch hands later or like take my time to review some spots, it's often easier to come to a conclusion or a good conclusion rather than like in game where you.
Of course, not
somewhere, especially if you're like playing for an hour or something where you just get into your grind mode and play sometimes like your standard game.
Yes.
But it's good to review these hands and get new ideas that you maybe can come up later in another session.
Yes, for sure. So like yeah, just review when you review like a bit deeper. But I know that you also put in like more deeper work. It's just like new spots, like it's also new like examples for where you are just still lacking this thinking. That should give motivation to look into more spots. But yeah, all good. Actively create spots where villain make mistakes is very interesting and very nice way of playing, to be honest. To not focus so much on ourselves, like to really focus on where is villain likely to make mistakes and actively create spots where we, like the king queen hand, where we already bet with the intention of calling a raise and then gaining 17 big blinds in EV. So these things add up. Implement like this was for the next time. Then I had some more notes. Let me see if there's more. Like maybe like just about timing. It's also timing tells, sizing tells. For example, the king queen hand again, where we can look at the amount of time he takes for the river, and more the river, like more the card is changing the nutted range, so more draws get there, more dynamic a turn or river is, more time normally you need to take for yourself to come to a good decision. So snap decisions are a big tell for that you can use for the range construction of villain. If he would on the queen of clubs, if he's snap checking to me, who's snap checking a flush? Like who's snap checking a straight? Like a snap check is a jack, like most of the time. You know what I mean? It's
at least it's pretty capped.
It's pretty capped. Not saying always, never always, but like it's more
it
likely.
tends to be kept.
Yes, correct. Maximize your value versus no, this is also for next time, and also for next time. So yeah, that's it for this video. Do you have any like anything you want to share from your side?
No, I think I'm fine. I learned a lot, and I think there's still a lot of room to improve.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of mistakes from myself, from other players, and I think there's still a lot of money to be made if you
Of
put in
course.
the time and study and get good at your assumptions.
Mm-hmm. Of course. So like you can really like this general belief of poker not being beatable is very nice, because always when there is a general belief, we can be the exception, right? So and it's for sure possible. You can crush it
It's an
by
easy
putting effort.
it's an easy excuse if you're
Correct
losing.
excuse. It's very comfortable. And me questioning, that's why it's nice that you're open even for this video. There I want to also thank you that you're open to for like to be criticized kinda in front of our audience is a very nice thing. Also for it shows just that you step away from your ego, like you put it on the side line, and this is very very nice. So that's always good. And just in the first hand where we had a bit of like like this discussion back and forth, that's the thing, like where we need to be careful of our beliefs, of the reasoning. We can always manipulate our reasoning to for the actions that we would like to take. You know what I mean? Like always pay attention on your reasoning and biases. It's very important. Beliefs. Okay. So anything more that you have from your side?
No, I think we're fine for this
Cool.
video.
Nice. So again, thank you that you was that you did this footage review with me, and yeah, next time if we can do then part 2 if also the viewers like it. So
Yeah,
then
for sure.
yep,
Have fun.
thank you, Shelby. Bye.
Bye.